Hello, my name is Brett Gemas, and I attended the student dialogue on the power of privilege back in September. And yeah, I'm just making the vlog assignment, just kind of telling y'all what it was about, how I thought it went, what we did in it, stuff like that. So, like I said, ours was on the power of privilege, and I mean, it was pretty good. It kind of focused on how how we may see different our different people in the world through the eyes of just like of social groups and how those social groups may affect our lives and their lives. And so we first started the student dialogue by doing an icebreaker exercise, and it was basically just like rock paper scissors. It was, if you won one game, then you're like an egg, and then you have to face another person that's an egg, and if you beat them, then you become a dinosaur, and then you have to face another person that was also a dinosaur, and then if you beat them, then you win. So that kind of got everyone, everyone's juices flowing and everything. We were all talking to each other, so it kind of, it did what it was supposed to do. It broke the ice and everything between us, so there was no real awkwardness throughout the presentation. And so we started off the um, the student dialogue by we were given a student identity wheel, and it was broken down into about 8 to 10 different categories, which were race, ethnicity, socioeconomic class, gender, sexual orientation, age, national origin, first language, and then religion and physical, emotional, or developmental ability. And these were different social groups, and we had to basically take a guess on um, how much those social groups affected who we hung out with on a daily basis. And it was a little awkward, I guess, for some people, including myself. And just because you don't really look at who you hang out with, and you don't define them based off their socioeconomic class or race or gender or anything like that. So we basically all just kind of we talked about it, and there were some similarities between a lot of people. How much they hang out with, you know, Catholics versus whites and blacks and all this other stuff that you could see why it made some people feel a little uncomfortable. And so, there was a good amount of people. It was kind of quiet at first, then I was chipping in some thoughts and ideas, but there was one kid especially. He actually said he had Asperger's syndrome, and he was a very smart kid, and he was telling us how him and his family are actually from Bangladesh, and how he would sometimes be stereotyped and almost to a certain degree set apart from the rest of the crowd and stuff. So making the transition to coming over here in the United States was a little bit of a challenge for him, especially because he had Asperger's syndrome. And so, that actually led us into another discussion on, stereotypes and, stuff like that and how that might affect us. And so, it was good for everyone to talk about. It made myself especially and a lot of other people kind of you know it might sound bad, but like looking at people through a different lens. Like how much do we really pay attention to um, you know different social groups and stuff like that, and how much they affect our lives. And I was, like I said, I never really paid attention to that, just because it was never something to pay attention to for me. Like I wouldn't hang out with someone just because of their social class or social identity. And so it kind of got me thinking, and looking at it at my friends, and if there were any kind of correlations to what the student dialogue was teaching us, and I did find some correlations and stuff that I never really paid attention to before. So it was a good experience, and I mean it was I think that our class really kind of bonded over this, and I think that a true dialogue was achieved through our different beliefs and different views that we have and stuff like that. So I think that the student dialogue should be a component for Library 100, because I mean it really gets you. I just did one section of it. There's 15 different topics to choose from, and it really gets you thinking about and discussing about certain topics in the world that we don't normally look at or pay attention to or anything like that. So I think that it should still be a requirement for incoming freshmen, and if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't have a problem with it. So yeah, that was my experience, and I'm glad I did it.